It's Saturday, September 25th, and we got a fairly decent day today. We've been hauling a little bit of rock. I just got done spreading it out. It's coming up pretty nice on this pad. Forest Service got our new mineral permit approved on Thursday, so we were able to get out and start getting rock again. But I don't sound like a broken record, but Thursday was just a terrible day. We've just been getting wave after wave after wave of rain and wind and stuff, and Thursday it just poured down rain. The wind was blowing 25-30 miles an hour here, more than that out around the country. Thursday night we must have got 3 inches of rain. The weather service said they got 4.5 inches of rain in Ketchikan, and we must have got over 3 inches here overnight. It just poured. They said there was thunder and lightning in places too, all the way from Yakutat down to Prince Rupert, so it was a pretty widespread storm. Said it was supposed to last through Friday. It rained Friday morning, and then late morning, early afternoon, it cleared up, and it actually got to be a pretty nice day. So I loaded up the Bobcat on the trailer and hauled it out to a rock pit, and we got 3 loads of rock out of there before it got too dark to haul anymore. Fighting with moose hunters. Moose hunting season started on the 15th, so lots of traffic out on the roads with all the hunters. But anyway, we got a couple loads and got early start this morning to try to get some more. I was hoping I was going to finish this out. Just those 3 loads making the pad look pretty good. But got my first load and got it dumped and went out to get the second load, and one of the hydraulic hoses blew on the Bobcat. So we had part of a load, brought it in and dumped it, gathered up some tools and went running out there to see if we could get that hose off and back to town before the Napa store closed. We got out there, and one hose, it just couldn't get a wrench on. I got to take a bracket off so I could move another hose out of the way, and so I could get a wrench on the hose on that end. So anyway, that ended our rock hauling. It's Saturday, so we won't be able to do anything tomorrow. Well, I got what I got spread out here, and like I said, it's looking pretty good. That's bringing that up pretty nice. He said we can always haul in the mud and the rain and get this picked up. Partying going on over next door. The gal next door puts in a pumpkin patch for Halloween, and they just got their stuff, straw bales and stuff like that, to set it up yesterday, and a bunch of kids over there playing now. So it's kind of fun. Still got about it's about 3 feet, almost 4 feet low, slopes down to 4 foot low on this side here on this end, but that other end down there where the vehicles are sitting, I got that up pretty good, and that's going to be pretty nice. So this stuff is a washout out of a creek out the road that they cleaned up and hauled into a pit. It's got lots of rock in it and lots of fines. It's not as muddy as that other stuff that we were getting. The stuff we were getting out of that other pit had a lot of mud in it, and a lot of the rock fractured up fine into some muddy stuff. You can see right here close to us, it's kind of muddy, and it's turned into muddy mud as the rocks and stuff get pounded down in there deeper. The more we use this, and the more the mud comes to the top. So this other stuff is a little bit different. It's more sandy. It's kind of going to be kind of similar. It's got a lot of fines in it, but it's going to pack in there good. So once I get everything all set and leveled out, I think I'll have a haul in some crushed rock from the gravel pit. I'll buy some crushed rock and have them haul that in here and spread it out so it's not muddy on top here. And then we'll have a nice working pad, be able to bring all of that stuff up from that other pad down there, the boat, the other trailer. Got to do something with a woodshed, get all that stuff up here and store it up here out of the way so we can start prepping that other pad to build the warehouse on. Once I get this pad up in shape, then I'll probably go out and start cutting down some more of those trees that we've got out in the woods that we had selected, get those milled up so I can get all of my 1x12s that I need for the roof decking, and we can get that shed put up, the warehouse put up, and the roof on it anyway. Hopefully get that done before the snow starts flying, at least get those logs out of the woods before the snow starts flying. It's Sunday, September 26th, and the weather turned out pretty nice today. It's been pretty good. It was forecast to be better than it was, but it's not too bad. Drizzled a little bit and overcast, but not too bad. So we used the opportunity to go out and pick some lingonberries. Out this afternoon, we got a little over half a gallon between the two of us, which is not too bad for those little berries. They're really small this year, and somebody might have already picked over our patch. I don't know, but the weather's been so bad we haven't been able to get out for a while. The last time we went out was to pick high bush cranberries, but we got some lingonberries. That's a pretty nice little bunch. Judy likes to use those in hotcakes and stuff when put in the hotcake batter. Well, those will be good this winter. Oh, we used the opportunity to do that, to go out and pick the berries. And then we came out here at the same time to fix the Bobcat. And it's sitting right here in the pit where we crippled it yesterday. We blew a hose, hydraulic hose. And here's the hose. You can see where the hose blew out right there. This is one of the main hoses for the arms that raise the boom up and down. So it's pretty critical. And I got it loose from this end yesterday. I brought wrenches out to get it loose so we could take it into town and get a new hose. But couldn't get into it on this end. Oh, there's the engine compartment. And there's where the hose is right there. And I couldn't get a wrench on it. It's too tight in there the way it is, and I didn't have the right tool, so I needed a 9/16 socket to get on that bolt right there to loosen up that bracket to take that one hose out of there and get it out of the way so I can get a wrench on the other hose. Well, that's what we came out here to do now. That hose off of there anyway, so I can go in Monday and get a new hose for it, and then we'll get out and get it fixed. All right, we're out here at the pit that we've been getting some rock out of for the pad at the house. There's the Bobcat. Now this pit's pretty much grown over. It's been closed off for quite a while, but they opened it up here about a month ago for a place to dump the waste. There's a couple of big washouts in the road down here they had to clean out, and they got all this waste out of that on the road when they redid it. So that's it. It's actually pretty good material for us for what we need. Well, that's what we've been getting. We got 4.5 loads out of it so far. And they blew a hose in the hydraulic hose in the Bobcat. You see that pit goes way over there, and all that alder has grown up in it, and it's pretty much grown up. They just opened up this section. About 30 years ago, this pit came in here with a pickup and hand loaded about 4 or 5 pickup loads of gravel, rock out of the pit that we used to fix a driveway in the place that we were living at the time. Like I said, the pit was all blocked off here for several years, but it's open now, and it's good material for us. So, well, I got to fix the Bobcat. This is the washout. This is where they repaired the road here, where the big washout was. This is the washout. Put a new culvert in here. Looking up there. Well, this is where that rock came from and the stuff that we're digging out of there. This is the lower side of the road. And that's where it washed to. This happened last fall about this time. We had the big torrential rains. Big heavy rainstorms. Actually, I think it might have happened later in the year. We had a bunch of snow, and then it warmed up and we got a bunch of rain, and the snow blocked up the culverts, and there were several washouts on these roads and stuff. Big heavy rains, and a whole lot of water came down at once. Anyway, that's it. That's where our rock is coming from, is out of here. There's another one up the road here, a couple hundred yards. Not as bad as this one was. Figured, all right, I'll take that bracket off, pop that hose right loose. Well, that didn't work out quite the way I'd hoped. That hose hooks into a hard line right there where that bracket is, and that hard line goes right down in here to a T. So I thought, well, that hose in there is in there a long ways. This doggone Bobcats, one of the things about them is they're handy, but they're compact, and everything is jammed into a small area that you can't hardly get into. So that thing is in there in kind of a tough spot. I can get on it, but I should have been able to get on this one easier. And I thought, well, I can just pop that hard line off of there and take that whole thing out of there and then take it apart in the shop and get the new hose and put it back together. Well, that didn't work out. I can't get those fittings to move either there, off of where that hard line goes into that T, or there where the hose goes into the hard line. So today's Monday, come out and try it again. I brought a propane torch out here this time and see if they can heat those fittings up a little bit. Maybe get them to pop loose, break loose. And just because there's oil in those lines, but I've also sprayed oil all over the place from that line blew, I brought a couple of fire extinguishers for just in case. Well, anyway, I'll go ahead and heat that up and see if we can get that broke loose. I thought sure putting some heat on those fittings would break them loose, but I got out here with the torch and heated those up, both the one on the T on that lower section there where the hard lines come together, and up on the hose on the hard line where the hose comes into it, and I couldn't get them to break. And I was so sure of that, I just came out here with the wrenches and the torch figuring that was going to happen, but it didn't happen. So I went to plan D, or whatever plan we're on now. I run home and found some pipe that I could use for a cheater on those wrenches. And then I got some small wrenches and I come out and did a little something different. I took the alternator off there. Well, meantime, it started raining. Well, I've got a tarp that I keep the Bobcat covered up with to keep it dry inside. So I just backed the Expedition up close to that where I could get the door open on the Bobcat and opened up the lift gate on the Expedition. And then I just took that tarp and stretched it over the top of that lift gate and over the back of the Bobcat. So it'll give me a little cover there to work on, dry cover to work on. So meantime, what I did, like I said, I brought some more tools with me. And to give me some more room to work in here, I took the alternator off and the bracket off for it. So I brought some sockets and some wrenches to take it off. Well, I took that off. That gave me a lot more room to work in there. I took this one wrench and put on here, and that was able to push tight up against the engine block that way. And then I got the other wrench in here on the line. And we went home and found a length of pipe cut off and used on there. And even though I heated that up, that would not come. I put that pipe on there and I finally got it to crack by pushing on it. So I had to take the alternator off, heat that up. I don't know whether the heat did anything to it or not. I used a cheater pipe on it and I finally got it to come. So that line is loose now. I can pull that out in there, that whole line out in there, and I can take that home and break that hard pipe off from the flexible hose and then take the hose in and get it rebuilt or built a new one. Anyway, that's good. We got that going now. Finally got that loose. Took some doing, but we got her. I got the hard line home. Got everything home. I got to get that soft line off of there, take it to town real quick. I only got a few minutes to get it to town to get it replaced. But anyway, I've got that hard line in here. I put the soft line, the flex line, the nut on that, or the fitting on that, in the vise, and I just tried to get that broke loose, and I couldn't get it broke loose. It just spun in the jaws of the vise and twisted the vise around. I had it tightened down pretty tight. So I'm going to go ahead and heat that up. I've got the torch there. Go ahead and heat that up and see if I can break it loose like that. That thing is just... I even put the cheater pipe on it. All I did was spin the vise around until it come to a stop on the turn on there. And then it just spun the nut around in the jaws and twisted the jaws. So, well, that didn't work very well. I put heat to it. It was just spinning in the vise, twisting the vise jaws open. What I finally did is I took the 15/16 inch wrench, which was what fits on the flats on that fitting, on the hose fitting, and put it on there, put it in the vise with it down so that it arm goes against the vise there, and took my 1 1/16 wrench, that's what it takes for the flats on that hard line. Then I had to take a cheater bar, and I finally got it to break loose with a little bit of heat. But even though it's loose, it's still tight. I mean, usually these fittings, once they break loose, you can just take them off finger tight, but that thing now, it finally got loose right there. So, all right, well, I'm going to take that off and run to town real quick and see if I can get that hose replaced. Well, we just got back from the store a few minutes ago, and they got a new Brand new pretty hose all made up here. And so I got this the hard pipe there. I got it cleaned up. These fittings on the end here were just froze up tight on there. They were hard on the pipe here. Wouldn't spin at all, especially this one here that the hose hooks into. I cleaned those out, got them slid back off of the pipe and cleaned them all off behind them and put a little bit of anti-seize on them. And threads were dirty on them, so I get these little wire brushes here like this. These are, you can buy them in the store for cleaning up pipe, copper pipe and stuff when you solder pipes together. And I just cut the little handle off of that and chucked it up there in the drill press and use that to go down in and clean those threads out. Worked pretty good. Got those all cleaned up. Like I said, they spin nice now. That's a lot better than they were. I used a little bit of starting fluid to clean them up, washed them out, made sure there was no gunk in that hard pipe. And then I put the flexible pipe in there, the hose in there. Like I said, I put a little bit of anti-seize around on between the hard pipe and the fitting there, and then just a touch of pipe sealant just right around the flare on that pipe, on that tube. So that's ready to go, but it's after 5 now. It'll be dark here in a few minutes. It's pouring down rain, so I'm not going to go out there and put that together tonight, but we'll get it done tomorrow and hopefully we'll be back in operation then. Well, it's Tuesday morning, back out here at the Bobcat again. Hopefully this is the last mechanical trip we have to make. I've got the hose all made up and ready to go on. Car parked right there where I can get to the tools and stuff, and made up my tent again for it. I think we've missed our opening of our good weather. Different this morning. It'll be blue sky 1 minute and then drizzly most of the time, and then pouring down rain in a deluge the next little bit. It's supposed to be big storm coming in after tomorrow. 65, 70, 80 mile an hour winds. Hopefully I can get this thing all together here today, and we'll get a few loads of rock out, maybe get enough to get done what we need to do. And the temperature's dropped. High right now in the middle of the day is 45 degrees. Springtime, when it warms up to 45, you start stripping all the clothes off and think it's warmed up. Now when it drops to 45, I think it's time to hibernate. So anyway, now I got to just feed that pipe in through there, up through that arm, right down there, through that cavity in that arm, and then hook it up to the T down there where we broke it loose. Get everything hooked up, put the alternator back on, put some more hydraulic fluid in it. We'll see if we can't get it running. We got everything all back together. I filled up the hydraulic oil reservoir, checked the oil, and just for good measure I put some diesel oil in it. So I've got to run the hoist up and down, the arm up and down a little bit to get all the air purged out of it and make sure there's no leaks in it. I got it started and warming it up. Just gonna let it warm up a little bit, and then I'll start moving them hydraulics up and down and see if I can't get the air out of it. Make sure I've got enough oil in the hydraulic system. I run the machine a little bit, run the arms up and down on it. Checked it out. Everything works good. Works like it's supposed to. I'm looking in here in the engine compartment. There's no leaks. No leaks. That's tight. And there's the new fitting. No leak there. So good. We're good to go. I'll get everything loaded up now and take this car back into town, my pickup and the trailer, and come out here and start getting a few loads of rock. We should be good to go now until the next hose blows or something else breaks. I went out Tuesday morning, put that Bobcat back together, took the new hose out there and stuff and put it on. Took me about 5 minutes to get that new hose on. It took longer to get the alternator set back up, remembering how it went. Well, I came back and got the truck and the trailer and went out, and I got 4 loads of material out of the pit on Tuesday before it got too dark to do anymore. And Wednesday morning I suited up in my armor rain gear and came out here and spread those 4 loads out, and then I went out and got 3 more loads. I just put the armor on and come out here in the rain and finish spreading those last 3 loads out and getting everything straightened out. And it looks pretty darn good. Got a little bit of a low spot here in the middle, just past the nose of the floats there. And then on this end we're going in, but I think it looks pretty doggone good. I could have used maybe 1, maybe 2 more loads, but we were pushing daylight there. They made the 3 loads, and by the time I went out and got the 4th load, which was the Bobcat, it was getting late, it was getting dark, and I was running out of fuel. And of course the weather is forecast to be crappy here and windy today, tomorrow, tonight especially, and tomorrow we got forecast to 70 up to 75 mile an hour winds, 40-45 mile an hour winds up to 75 mile an hour. Well, being out in the woods is no place to be then like that. Well, I wanted to get back in here, get the machine back in here, and get ready for the next phase. So anyway, this is looking pretty doggone good. I think I got it up pretty nice. I think what I'll do is call a gravel company and have them bring in a couple of loads of crushed rock and put on here, and then this will be pretty nice. Anyway, I think I'm done with this pad here for now. Get the crushed rock on there. Well, I also got quite a few big rocks that we put in with the mix there, and those we'll use to finish armor and up that sidewall over there, or that cut bank over there on the side of the pad. Probably have to put my armor on again tomorrow and come out and do that. Well, the Bobcat run just fine after we got the hose on it, no leaks or anything like that, so worked good again. Well, you'd see maybe it's raining pretty good now. There's the water coming off the umbrella. Forecast to be heavy rain tonight. This is just a light shower here now compared to what it's supposed to be. Maybe 3 to 6 inches of rain between now and Saturday. Anyhow, I think I'm done with this. Hell, I'm going to get that crushed rock and put on here, but I think pretty much done with hauling rock now for the time being. Like I said, I could have used another load or 2, but we'll be able to do what we need to do here with this pad. I'll get that stuff down there off the other pad and get it up here out of the way so we can start working on that other one. And then I guess the next step to do here is, once this weather storm pattern clears out here, is to get out and start getting those other trees down so we can get them home and get them milled up so we can finish getting the lumber I need to put that warehouse together.